It's Monday, November 12th. This week marks 2 years of demonetisation, and the question, what exactly was the Reserve Bank of India's position on the contentious move, has been answered. The Indian Express, which accessed the minutes of the 561st meeting of the RBI Central Board, which was convened in New Delhi at 5:30 p.m. on November 8, 2016, reported that hours before the Prime Minister, in a televised address to the nation, announced that demonetisation would end the flow of black money and counterfeit currency, the RBI had rejected both justifications in writing, even as it signed off on the policy move itself. The RBI directors had received a draft proposal of the scheme from the Ministry of Finance on the 7th of November. In it, the ministry had said demonetisation would curb the flow of black money. The RBI Central Board, however, said most of the black money is held in the form of assets in real estate or gold. Demonetisation would not have a material impact on those assets. The ministry had reportedly argued that counterfeiting is on the rise in denominations of 1,000 and 500, amounting to approximately 400 crore rupees. The Central Board, however, said 400 crore as a percentage of the total quantum of currency in circulation in the country is not very significant. The report also states that the central bank's directors described the move as commendable, but also warned that demonetisation will have a short-term negative effect on the GDP for the current year. Meanwhile, former Reserve Bank of India Governor Raghu on Friday said the two successive shocks of demonetisation and GST had a serious impact on growth in India. Rajan said, while a growth rate of 7% over 25 years is impressive, it has in some sense become the new Hindu rate of growth. The reality is that 7% is not enough for the kind of people coming into the labour market, and we need jobs for them. The Hindu rate of growth refers to the Indian economy's low annual growth rate before liberalisation in 1991. More than 35 years after his father-in-law N.T. Ramarao established the Telugu Desam party on the foundation of anti-Congressism and ended the Grand Old Party's vice-like grip over Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu has well and truly buried the hatchet. Not only are the TDP and the Congress contesting the Telangana Assembly polls in alliance, Chandrababu Naidu, who has stepped up efforts to bring together anti-BJP parties ahead of the 2019 elections, has even said Rahul Gandhi and the Congress, by virtue of being the main opposition party, will be the anchor of this in-the-works formation. Opposition parties are now slated to meet on the 22nd to chart the next course of action. Naidu has already met DMK Chief M.K. Stalin, JDS Chief Devagowda and his son, Karnataka Chief Minister Kumaraswamy, BSP Chief Mayawati, Samajwadi Party Leader Akhilesh Yadav, NCP Chief Sharad Pawar, National Conference's Farooq Abdullah, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Congress President Rahul Gandhi. He is expected to meet West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee on the 19th of this month. Naidu has said the outcome of the assembly elections to the 5 states that get underway today will help crystallize the realignment of political parties in favour of this front. The Congress, though, had failed to stitch up an alliance with the BSP for the Madhya Pradesh Assembly elections, a failure that called into question the party's commitment to alliances that may require compromises. Conversely, the Congress and the JDS together managed to win 4 of the 5 by-elections in Karnataka, 2 assembly and 2 parliamentary, giving the parties a shot in the arm. In a move seen as a departure from its position on talks with Taliban, India sent 2 representatives, former envoys, to participate in multilateral peace talks hosted by Russia called the Moscow format, with the Taliban on the talking table. A delegation of the High Peace Council from Kabul, delegations from India, Pakistan, the US, China, Iran, and 5 Central Asian republics were invited for the meeting. The Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson maintained that India's consistent policy has been that such efforts should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, and Afghan-controlled, with the participation of the government of Afghanistan. The meeting, however, did not have any representatives of the Ashraf Ghani government, but the Ghani government has been quoted as saying our agreement with the Russians is that this meeting should lead to direct talks between us and the Taliban. If it does not happen like this, then this will reflect on the intention of the Taliban, and this means they are not prepared for peace. Meanwhile, the Modi government's decision to send representatives to the talking table in Moscow prompted former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah to ask if non-official participation in a dialogue that includes the Taliban is acceptable to the Modi government. Why not a non-official dialogue with non-mainstream stakeholders in Jammu and Kashmir? Why not a non-official dialogue centered around Jammu and Kashmir's eroded autonomy and its restoration? Deposed Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's United National Party and its coalition partners will move the country's Supreme Court to challenge President Sirisena's controversial move to dissolve Parliament and call for fresh elections on the 5th of January 2019. Wait, why was Parliament dissolved? We need to rewind to the events of October 26th. President Sirisena had summarily sacked Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and installed former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in his place. Sirisena, interestingly, had defeated Rajapaksa in the 2014 presidential election and had vowed to set up an inquiry into alleged excesses under Rajapaksa during the civil war. As Sri Lanka, then led by Rajapaksa, went into what was the final battle against the LTTE in 2008-2009, thousands of Tamil civilians were killed by government forces. Ranil Wickremesinghe had in fact helped Sirisena challenge Rajapaksa and win the presidential election in 2014. But relations between Sirisena and Wickremesinghe, a leader widely perceived as being close to India, soured recently. One example of the lack of trust was the president reportedly telling the cabinet that India's research and analysis wing was plotting his assassination, a report he later denied. Now, with Wickremesinghe sacked and Rajapaksa sworn in, a trust vote for the new incumbent was scheduled on the 14th of November. But on Friday, President Sirisena dissolved Parliament just days ahead of that scheduled crucial trust vote, evidently because the new coalition was at least 5 short of a majority. Meanwhile, in Tamil Nadu, political parties reacted strongly to the unfolding constitutional crisis in Sri Lanka, with DMK chief M.K. Stalin even urging the Modi government not to remain an onlooker and ensure the safety and welfare of Sri Lankan Tamils. And finally, as the world marks the centenary of the signing of the armistice that ended World War I in November 1918, an Indian war memorial was unveiled at Villers-Gislin in France, acknowledging the sacrifice of Indian soldiers in the war. An estimated 1.3 million Indian soldiers fought in World War I. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, who inaugurated the memorial in France, said, "India played a significant role in World War I. However, it is frequently overlooked as a result of the horrors experienced in trench warfare and by Europe's tendency to home in on battles such as those fought at the Somme and Verdun, which many assume only Europeans fought in." Love your morning fix? Help support our journalism. Subscribe to Scroll Plus using the link in the description.